In the summer of 1983, a group of 5 teenage friends embarked on what was supposed to be a memorable week-long camping trip deep within the dense expanse of Whispering Pines Forest. This remote area, tucked away from the bustle of nearby towns, was renowned for its towering ancient trees that formed a thick canopy overhead, and its winding trails that twisted unpredictably through the underbrush. The campers, eager for adventure and unfazed by the forest's eerie reputation, set out with backpacks full of supplies and spirits high, unaware that their journey would soon become the focal point of one of the region's most enduring mysteries. Whispering Pines had long been shrouded in local legends, whispered among residents and travelers alike. Tales spoke of strange lights flickering between the trees at night, ghostly whispers carried on the wind, and an unsettling feeling of being watched by unseen eyes. The forest was said to be cursed, a place where the natural world and the supernatural seemed to collide. Despite these warnings, the 5 teenagers, 2 boys and 3 girls, dismissed the stories as mere superstition, eager to prove their bravery against the backdrop of these old wives' tales. The first few days passed without incident. The group set up camp near a clearing, their laughter and chatter echoing through the trees. They explored nearby trails, fished in a crystal-clear stream, and shared stories around the campfire as stars glittered overhead. But as the days wore on, an undercurrent of unease began to settle among them, subtle at first, a sudden chill in the air, the distant rustle of leaves without wind, shadows that seemed to flicker just beyond vision. Still, the teens pressed forward, committed to their adventure. When the week came to an end and the campers failed to return as scheduled, concern quickly escalated among their families and the local community. A search party was organized, composed of volunteers, forest rangers, and local law enforcement, who combed the dense woods and winding paths with flashlights and dogs trained to track human scent. Yet, their efforts yielded only fragments of evidence, scattered belongings left as if abandoned in haste, a campfire smoldering but long since cold, and footprints that led to nowhere. The 5 teenagers themselves were nowhere to be found. The searchers found no signs of struggle, no bodies, no indication of what had befallen the group. It was as if they had simply vanished into thin air. The eerie silence of the forest seemed to deepen, swallowing the hope of a quick resolution. The lack of concrete answers only fueled the fire of speculation and fear. Some locals clung to the possibility of wildlife attacks or accidents. After all, the forest was home to bears, wolves, and treacherous terrain, but others whispered of something far more sinister lurking among the ancient pines. The families of the missing teenagers were gripped by a paralyzing blend of fear and confusion. Their pleas for answers echoed through town halls and news outlets, but official explanations remained frustratingly vague. The community, already wary of the forest's dark reputation, found itself caught between rational skepticism and the spine-chilling legends handed down through generations. Past disappearances in the area had often been chalked up to misadventures or natural hazards, but this case felt different. It carried a colder edge, a silence so profound it seemed to swallow the very hope of rescue. Local lore recounted whispers of a curse tied to the forest's ancient roots, stories told around hearths and campfires about travelers who had entered Whispering Pines but never returned. There were murmurs of strange lights that danced among the trees at night, sometimes described as flickering orbs, other times as ghostly figures moving in the shadows. The whispers that gave the forest its name were said to be voices carried on the wind, fragments of long-forgotten conversations, or warnings from restless spirits. These tales, once dismissed as mere folklore, gained new weight in the wake of the teenagers' disappearance. Despite extensive search efforts that stretched over weeks, no new leads emerged. The forest, vast and impenetrable, seemed to guard its secrets fiercely. Search parties frequently reported an overwhelming sensation of being watched, and some recounted hearing faint voices or seeing fleeting shadows that vanished when approached. These accounts only deepened the mystery, blurring the line between the natural and the supernatural, and leaving rescuers haunted by the unknown. The disappearance of the 5 teenagers at Whispering Pines Forest became a chilling chapter in the region's history, a story passed down with a mix of sorrow and dread. It was a stark reminder of how nature's beauty could mask unfathomable darkness, and how the unknown corners of the world can hold secrets that defy explanation. Families remained shattered, their lives forever changed by the unanswered questions, while the forest itself seemed to wait patiently, its ancient pines silently bearing witness to the vanished souls who dared to venture within. Months after the disappearance of the 5 teenage campers in Whispering Pines Forest, an unexpected discovery added a new layer of mystery to the already chilling tale. Deep within the dense woods, in what was once an active ranger station but had long since been abandoned to the encroaching wilderness, a lost journal was found. The journal belonged to a veteran forest ranger named Samuel Hayes, a man who had vanished under equally mysterious circumstances several years prior, his fate as unknown as that of the missing teenagers. The journal's unearthing reignited hope and fear in equal measure, offering a glimpse into a shadowed past that seemed inexorably linked to the forest's dark secrets. Samuel Hayes had served as a ranger for over 2 decades, his life dedicated to patrolling the vast stretches of Whispering Pines. His journal, discovered tucked away beneath a loose floorboard in the decrepit station, contained detailed entries that painted a disturbing picture of his final months. What began as routine observations soon gave way to increasingly eerie accounts of encounters with an elusive and sinister presence, a shadowy figure that seemed to watch over the forest with an unsettling vigilance. The entries described strange phenomena that defied explanation. Hayes wrote of hearing footsteps following him through the underbrush, only to find no one there when he turned. At times, the forest would fall unnaturally silent, the usual chorus of birds and rustling leaves replaced by an oppressive stillness. On several occasions, he reported seeing a tall, dark silhouette standing motionless between the trees, its form blending seamlessly with the shadows so that it was difficult to discern whether it was human or something else entirely. The figure never approached but seemed to observe him with a cold, unyielding gaze that sent chills down his spine. Hayes's descriptions gave rise to what became known locally as the legend of the Shadow Stalker. According to his notes, this figure moved with an eerie silence, slipping between trees as if part of the forest itself. Locals whispered that the Shadow Stalker was either a guardian spirit protecting the ancient woods or a far more malevolent entity preying on those who dared enter its domain. Hayes's journal hinted at a growing dread within him, a sense that the figure's presence was not just a passive watchfulness but an ominous warning, and perhaps a prelude to something darker. The ranger's last entries grew increasingly fragmented and desperate. He spoke of strange sounds that echoed through the night, low, guttural noises that seemed to emanate from the heart of the forest, alongside fleeting glimpses of glowing eyes watching from the undergrowth. His writing suggested he felt hunted, trapped in a place where the boundary between reality and nightmare was dangerously thin. The journal abruptly ended, leaving no record of his final fate, and despite extensive searches, Hayes himself was never found. The discovery of the journal reignited debates and fears within the local community. Some residents interpreted Hayes's accounts as evidence of a supernatural force at work, something ancient and vengeful embedded in the very soil and trees of Whispering Pines. Others sought rational explanations, proposing that the shadowy figure might have been a person, perhaps a poacher, a recluse, or even a criminal using the forest as a hideout. Yet no concrete proof ever emerged to support any of these theories, and the ranger's disappearance remained as baffling as the camper's vanishing. The legend of the Shadow Stalker became a whispered caution among hunters, hikers, and residents. Stories circulated of travelers who had glimpsed fleeting shadows darting just beyond the reach of their campfire light, or who had heard unsettling sounds that no animal could explain. Some claimed the figure was a spectral guardian, punishing those who disrespected the forest, while others believed it to be a harbinger of doom, stalking the woods in search of prey. These tales, fueled by Hayes's journal, blurred the line between folklore and fact, embedding the fear of the unknown deeper into the collective consciousness. Despite the passage of time, the connection between Hayes's disappearance and the earlier vanishing of the 5 teenagers could not be ignored. Both sets of events occurred within the same shadowed corridors of the forest, and both were marked by the absence of any clear explanation. The journal's eerie entry suggested that the forest itself might be an active participant in these mysteries, a place where natural laws bent and twisted, allowing something otherworldly to thrive. Search parties and investigators who returned to Whispering Pines after the journal's discovery reported renewed sensations of unease. Some spoke of sudden chills, inexplicable noises, and the feeling of unseen eyes tracking their movements. Yet no additional evidence surfaced to shed light on the true nature of the Shadow Stalker or the fate of those who had vanished. The forest seemed to guard its secrets jealously, maintaining an impenetrable veil that defied human understanding. The tale of Samuel Hayes and his shadowy adversary deepened the enigma of Whispering Pines, intertwining the natural world with the supernatural in a narrative that challenged the boundaries of belief. His journal served as both a warning and a testament to the unknown forces at play within the forest's depths, a chilling reminder that some mysteries refuse to be tamed or explained, lingering instead as dark silhouettes in the periphery of human knowledge. In the autumn of 1997, a new and grim chapter unfolded in the saga of Whispering Pines Forest when hikers traversing a popular trail stumbled upon a chilling discovery that would deepen the forest's dark mystique. Tucked away in a remote section of the woods, obscured by thick undergrowth and shadowed by towering trees, lay a hollowed-out giant oak, an imposing natural monument whose massive trunk had long fascinated visitors. But it was inside this gnarled giant that the hikers found something far more sinister: the remains of two missing individuals, victims of a brutal and calculated murder. The bodies, partially concealed beneath a layer of fallen leaves and broken branches, bore the unmistakable marks of a violent struggle. Their discovery sent shockwaves through the local community, reigniting fears that had long simmered beneath the surface of everyday life near Whispering Pines. For the families of the deceased, the grim revelation shattered any lingering hope of a peaceful resolution, while law enforcement faced the daunting task of unraveling a case steeped in cruelty and mystery. Close to the gruesome scene, investigators found a chilling and enigmatic clue: a symbol carved meticulously into the tree's bark. The design, etched with deliberate precision, was unlike any known marking associated with local wildlife, indigenous cultures, or common criminal signatures. Its meaning eluded experts and law enforcement alike, provoking wild speculation and unease. Some believed it to be a ritualistic emblem, perhaps connected to occult practices or a message from the perpetrator. Others theorized it could be a form of twisted communication, a signature left by a serial offender marking their territory or signaling future victims. The brutality of the murders suggested the involvement of someone intimately familiar with the forest's intricate layout. The killer appeared to have used the dense woods to their advantage, selecting a remote and secluded site where the bodies could remain hidden for an extended period. This level of familiarity pointed toward a perpetrator who was either a seasoned hunter, a local resident, or someone with experience navigating the forest's many secrets. Despite exhaustive investigative efforts, no suspects were ever identified or apprehended. Witnesses who might have seen or heard something were scarce, and those who ventured into the forest often reported a pervasive sense of unease, as if the very trees themselves were watching. The cryptic symbol carved into the oak remained an enduring enigma, a silent taunt that mocked the authorities' inability to solve the case. The discovery of the hollow tree murder sent ripples of fear throughout the community and among outdoor enthusiasts. Hikers and campers became wary of venturing too deep into the woods, especially near the site of the killings. The thought that a predator might still be lurking unseen transformed the forest from a place of natural beauty into a realm of lurking menace. Local guides began to warn visitors of the dangers, and some trails saw a marked decline in foot traffic as the chilling story spread. In the years following the murders, the hollow tree became a symbol of the forest's darkest secrets, an ominous landmark where nature's grandeur was forever marred by human depravity. Attempts to decipher the carved symbol yielded no definitive answers, with experts from various fields offering conflicting interpretations. Some suggested it was tied to obscure pagan rituals, while others believed it was the personal insignia of a disturbed individual. Whatever its origin, the symbol deepened the mystery, intertwining the brutal reality of murder with the forest's supernatural reputation. The murders also reignited speculation about connections between various disappearances and strange occurrences within Whispering Pines. Some theorists proposed that the same force or individual responsible for the hollow tree killings might have been linked to the earlier vanishings of the teenagers and even the disappearance of Ranger Samuel Hayes. The recurring themes of darkness, shadows, and unexplained phenomena painted a picture of a forest that seemed to harbor malevolence beyond the natural world. Law enforcement agencies revisited cold cases, hoping that advancements in forensic technology might shed new light on the evidence. However, the dense and unforgiving nature of the environment had compromised much of the physical evidence, limiting the potential for breakthroughs. The cryptic carving remained unsolved, a haunting reminder of the unknown lurking just beyond the edge of understanding. The hollow tree murders cemented Whispering Pines Forest's reputation as a place where beauty and horror coexisted in a fragile and terrifying balance. The forest's ancient trees, once symbols of endurance and life, now stood witness to acts of unspeakable violence, their silent presence a testament to mysteries that defied explanation. For those who lived near the woods, the story served as a grim cautionary tale. Beneath the canopy of leaves and shadowed branches, darkness waited patiently, its secrets hidden in the hollow spaces where light dared not linger. In 2009, the enigmatic aura surrounding Whispering Pines Forest deepened with reports that defied all conventional understanding. Hikers exploring a seldom-traveled clearing stumbled upon an old wooden cabin, seemingly untouched by time, complete with furniture arranged as if its occupants had only just stepped away. The cabin's sudden appearance was bewildering enough, but the true mystery began when, upon returning the next day with others to investigate further, the cabin had vanished without a trace. The clearing was empty, the earth undisturbed, leaving behind only the haunting memory of a home that should not have existed. This vanishing cabin became a focal point for those drawn to the forest's inexplicable phenomena, stirring a swirl of speculation and unease. Witnesses described the cabin as sturdy and well-maintained, with signs of recent habitation, fresh footprints, a smoldering fire pit, and personal items left behind. Yet, no record existed of anyone living in that part of the woods, and no one could explain how an entire structure could disappear overnight without a trace. The phenomenon challenged the very fabric of reality for those involved, raising questions about the nature of space and time within the forest's depths. Compounding the mystery were numerous accounts from locals and visitors alike of strange, pulsating lights moving silently through the forest canopy at night. These lights were described variously as glowing orbs, shifting colors, or flickering pulses that defied explanation by any natural or technological source. Scientists and researchers who attempted to study the phenomenon found no conventional explanation. The lights did not correspond with known atmospheric events, bioluminescent organisms, or human-made devices. They seemed to move with intention, weaving through the branches like ethereal entities, sometimes appearing to follow or observe those who ventured beneath. Biologists monitoring the forest's ecosystem noted unsettling changes coinciding with these phenomena. Certain animal species, once common in whispering pines, began to vanish abruptly, while others exhibited strange behaviors, erratic movements, unexplained agitation, and sudden departures from established habitats. These disruptions suggested that something unnatural was influencing the delicate balance of life within the forest, unsettling the rhythms that had persisted for centuries. The disappearance of species and altered behaviors baffled experts, who struggled to identify any environmental or human factors that could account for the changes. The combination of the vanishing cabin, the unexplainable lights, and the disrupted wildlife fed into a growing tapestry of theories that ranged from the plausible to the fantastical. Some speculated that secret government experiments were being conducted in the forest, involving advanced technology capable of rendering objects invisible or manipulating local ecosystems. Others leaned toward paranormal explanations, positing that the forest was a nexus of supernatural energy, a place where dimensions overlapped and ordinary laws of physics no longer applied. Locals shared stories passed down in hushed tones, recounting how the forest itself seemed alive and reactive. Some claimed that the lights were manifestations of the forest spirit, warning intruders or guiding lost souls. Others feared that these phenomena were harbingers of something far more sinister, signs of an ancient force awakening, or the presence of entities that preyed on human curiosity. The ambiguity of these experiences left those who encountered them torn between awe and terror, unsure whether they were witnessing miracles or malevolence. Researchers who ventured into whispering pines equipped with cameras and monitoring equipment often found their devices malfunctioning or destroyed under mysterious circumstances. Attempts to capture clear images or recordings of the lights or the vanished cabin ended in frustration, with footage corrupted or lost, and instruments inexplicably failing. These technical anomalies only deepened the sense of a powerful and elusive presence within the forest, one that resisted scrutiny and defied capture. The forest's influence extended beyond the physical realm into the psychological. Visitors reported feelings of disorientation, anxiety, and an overwhelming sense of being watched. Some described vivid dreams or hallucinations following their time in the woods, experiences that blurred the line between waking life and nightmare. These accounts suggested that whispering pines held sway not just over the environment but over the minds of those who dared to enter, weaving a complex web of fear and fascination. Despite the many theories and investigations, the phenomena persisted, unresolved and unexplained. The vanishing cabin remained a symbol of the forest's mysterious power, a tangible reminder that reality within whispering pines was mutable and unpredictable. The pulsating lights continued to haunt the night skies, while the disrupted wildlife bore silent witness to forces beyond human comprehension. Together, these elements painted a portrait of a forest teetering on the edge between the known and the unknowable, where ordinary experience gave way to the extraordinary. Whispering Pines had become more than a forest, it was a living enigma, a place where the boundaries of reality bent and shifted. The stories of the vanishing cabin, the spectral lights, and the altered ecosystem intertwined to create a narrative that both captivated and terrified, inviting explorers to probe its depths while warning them of the dangers that lurked within. In this realm of shadows and light, the forest held fast to its secrets, challenging all who entered to confront the unknown. In the continuing saga of Whispering Pines Forest, the mysteries deepened with the disappearance of a research team's invaluable audio recordings, lost under baffling circumstances. This team had ventured into the forest to capture the elusive sounds reported by countless visitors, whispers, unidentifiable noises, and the strange pulses that had become synonymous with the forest's eerie reputation. The recordings, however, vanished without explanation, leaving behind only fragmented data and a haunting silence that seemed to echo the forest's own secrets. The audio files that survived contained faint, distorted whispers, voices that seemed to rise and fall like the wind but carried an uncanny human cadence. Interspersed were sounds that defied classification, low-frequency hums, sharp clicks, and elongated tones that some experts speculated could be a form of communication from unknown sources. Despite sophisticated analysis, linguists and sound engineers were unable to decode these noises or assign them any known origin. The recordings became a symbol of the forest's inscrutability, a sonic puzzle that teased the edges of human understanding while slipping just out of reach. Compounding the mystery were archaeological discoveries beneath the forest floor, ancient burial grounds uncovered during a separate excavation. These sites, veiled beneath layers of earth and roots, contained artifacts unlike any previously documented in the region. The items bore strange markings, crafted from materials that resisted conventional dating techniques, and some radiated an inexplicable energy that confounded scientists. The burial sites suggested a civilization or culture connected deeply to the land, one whose relationship with the forest was steeped in ritual and secrecy. Archaeologists approached the sites with a mixture of reverence and caution, mindful of the forest's reputation and the potential for uncovering truths that might challenge established history. The artifacts hinted at complex spiritual beliefs and practices, possibly linked to the very phenomena that had haunted Whispering Pines for decades. Some theorized that the artifacts were relics of a people who sought to harness or appease the forest's mysterious forces, their rituals echoing faintly in the modern-day whispers carried on the wind. These findings added a profound historical dimension to the forest's enigma, suggesting that the mysteries of Whispering Pines were not recent aberrations but threads woven through centuries of human experience. The ancient burial grounds, with their strange artifacts, stood as silent witnesses to a past where nature and the supernatural converged, shaping the lives of those who dwelled in the shadow of the towering pines. The forest's unsettling influence extended beyond physical discoveries into the realm of human psychology and belief. Visitors and locals alike spoke of an intangible presence, a force that seemed to blur the lines between reality and the unknown. The whispers recorded by the research team, the vanished campers, the shadowy figure chronicled by Ranger Hayes, the hollow tree murders, the disappearing cabin, and the spectral lights, all these elements intertwined into a narrative that defied simple explanation. Whispering Pines became a place where nature and the inexplicable intertwined, a living mystery that challenged the limits of science and folklore alike. The forest's secrets, layered in whispers and shadows, called to those who sought answers while warning of the dangers that lay in prying too deeply. For investigators, explorers, and the curious, the woods offered more questions than answers, a haunting reminder that some realms remain beyond human comprehension, guarded by the ancient trees and the silence of the deep woods.